I'm going to be remaking Minecraft mobs into Steal A Brainrot. The first mob I'll make is Chimpanzini Bananini, and we'll use the Wither to make him. First, let's get rid of all the stuff we don't need, then we'll change the size of his body, and we'll make it a little bit wider as well. Now let's change the size of his head, and we'll start to turn his body into a banana. Now let's start adding some peeled parts on the sides, and we'll copy this to the other side. Next, I'm gonna start to make his face, and we'll give him some ears, and I think this is looking good. Now let's color him in. First, we'll color this part dark green. Next, I'm gonna color some parts of his face red, and we'll make the banana completely yellow. Now let's give him some eyes, and I'm gonna add his mouth. Now finally, let's color this part brown, and I think this is looking pretty good. Let's see how he looks in game. Okay, so we've made it to my Minecraft version of Steal A Brainrot. It's really good, and it's definitely not unplayable. And this is what Chimpanzini Bananini looks like in game. As you can hear, he's got the wither sounds. It's very loud, so I probably shouldn't have added that. I also gave him like a flying animation. I don't think it's accurate, but whatever. I don't care. So I'm just gonna steal this guy and bring him to my base. Now he's in my base, which means we can take a look at some of the other features he has, like being able to do a ton of knockback when he hits you because banana peels are slippery. So it's like slipping on a banana peel, but the banana is hitting you instead. He also isn't able to take fall damage because I made him look like he's flying, and you probably don't take fall damage when you don't actually land on the ground. If you manage to kill a chimpanzini, you will get a blaze rod. This is because I didn't feel like adding a banana item, so a blaze rod is the closest looking thing. Just don't eat it. And overall, I think Chimpanzini Bananini turned out pretty good. And because of this, I am going to give him a 10 out of 10. Next, I'm gonna make Orangatini Ananasini, and I will use an iron golem for this one. First, let's get rid of this, and we'll change his legs to make them a lot smaller. Now let's make his body into the shape of a pineapple, and we'll move his head down like this. Next, I'm gonna add his mouth, and we'll give him some ears. Now let's give him some shoulders, and I'm going to move his arm down like this. Next, let's make his arm look a little bent, and we'll give him a hand, and I think this is good. Now let's give him some color. Let's color his body in orange, and I'm gonna give him some brown hands and feet. Now let's color his face brown as well, and I'll give him some eyes and a mouth. Next, I'm going to color in the pineapple, and we'll give it a yellow pattern. Next, I'm gonna add the green part on his head, and I think that looks pretty good. It's time to see him in game. And as you can see, this is what he looks like in game. I'm not really sure why this top part ended up floating, but we're not gonna question it. The rest of him looks good. So let's steal Orangatini. Now I have 2 legendary brain rots, and this is Orangatini in the actual game. As you can see, he doesn't take that much knockback when you hit him. You could ask me why this is a feature, but I honestly have no idea. I think it's just because he is an iron golem. That's it. You also get a pufferfish when you kill this guy, and you can probably guess why I chose a pufferfish. Again, it's because I didn't feel like adding a pineapple to the game. So instead we get a pineapple with a face. Don't eat it. Regardless of the pufferfish, I think Orangatini looks pretty good, and because of this, I am going to give him a 9 out of 10. It would be a 10, but the floating hair part dropped the rating. Next, I will make Glorbo, and I'm going to use a turtle to make him. Let's get rid of a few things. Next, I'm going to make his body into the shape of a melon. Let's make the melon a little bit rounded. Now I'm going to start shaping his neck, and we'll attach his head to the neck part like this. Next, I'm going to start changing the shape of his head, and I'll give him a nose. Now I'm going to give him some legs, and we'll copy this to the other side. Okay, now this looks pretty good. Let's start to give him some color. First, we're going to color this part green for now, and I'm going to color his legs darker green, and I'll do the same for his head and his neck. Now let's color in the bottom of his neck and head, and finally we'll change the green part to a melon texture. Alright, I think that looks pretty good. Let's see how he looks in game. This is Glorbo in the game. For some reason, you have to punch him to make him walk in the line, but you might have noticed that just like in Steal A Brainrot, Glorbo rolls instead of walks. Unfortunately, we don't see anything other than a melon though, so we have to steal him. And this is how Glorbo looks in the game. As you can see, he actually looks pretty good. I'm surprised because I thought this one would look pretty bad. I'm not gonna lie. If Glorbo is rolling around, he becomes immune to projectiles because he's rolling so fast that he just deflects them. He isn't immune to swords though, as you can see. And if you kill him, you get a full watermelon. I don't think I have to explain why he drops one. You can probably figure it out. Since Glorbo is an alligator, if he ends up underwater, he will never drown. And if you see this in the water, you should stay away, because we all know what happens when you go in the water with a gator. Overall, I think Glorbo turned out better than I expected, so because of this, I'm going to give him a 10 out of 10. Next, I'm gonna make Los Tralalaritos, and I will use a Vex to make them. First, I'm gonna get rid of this stuff because we don't need it, and let's make his head a little bit wider. Next, I'm gonna move his arms, and we'll make the body a bit bigger too. Now let's start giving him some legs, and we'll turn his arms sideways. Now I'm gonna add a little nose, and I think that looks good, so let's color him in. First, we'll color this part blue, and I'm going to color the front like this. Now let's color color his legs light blue, and I'm gonna make the bottom of his shoes white. Now this is good, so let's copy him and make 3 of them. Now I'm gonna give them some eyes, and I'll make their mouths. And I think this looks pretty good. Let's see what they look like in game. This is how Los Trallaleritos looks in game. As you can see, they look alright. Their faces do kind of look like they belong on dogs though, so that might need to be fixed. They also make kind of a scary noise when you get close to them, but that's fine because we found a secret. I'm sure it's gonna give us a lot of money in this real Steal A Brainrot game. If you try to damage these guys, it's impossible. You are not able to damage them. So you would probably like to know that if you kill them, you get a god apple because you can't kill them. So if you killed them somehow, you deserve it. Overall, I don't think Los Trallaleritos turned out as good as they could have. So for that, I'm going to give them a 7 out of 10. I don't know why, but something about their face just does not look right. Next, I will make Bombombini Gusini, and I'm going to use a ghast for this one. First, let's get rid of all the ghast's legs, and I'm going to flatten this part. Now let's shape it into the body of a plane, and I'm going to use this piece to make his feet. Now let's copy this over to the other side, and I'm gonna add some more details on the sides. Next, let's turn this cube into his wings, and I'm gonna make this into a tail. Now let's give him a neck, and we'll also give him a head. And I think this looks pretty good. It's time to add color. First, I'm gonna color his body fully gray. Next, let's color the feet and wings brown. Now I'm gonna color in his beak, and we'll give him some eyes. Now let's add a bit more details, and I think this is looking pretty good. It's time to add him to the game. This is Bombombini Gusini in the game. I don't know why, but he is moving super fast. It's probably because he's a plane. Planes move fast. He's pushing the other brainrots. This is kind of insane. Anyways, we are going to buy this Gusini real quick, and now we have a pretty insane looking base. We are already making so much money from these brainrots. If you right click on Bombombini Gusini, you are able to go on a flight to anywhere. Well, not really, because he doesn't seem to go up, so I can't get over this mountain. But you are still able to ride him. You also can't attack him with a sword because planes are immune to swords. Don't go test that. It's probably true. If you kill Bombombini, he drops some feathers, and that is because he is a goose, not because the plane is made of feathers. And overall, I think Bombombini Gusini isn't the best looking mob I've made, but he still looks decent. So because of this, I'm going to give him an 8 out of 10. The next mob is and I'm going to use a creeper to make him. First, let's get rid of some of the stuff we don't need. Next, I'm going to shape the body into a coffee cup. I'm going to add a layer on top that will be a lid. Now let's add this straw thing up here. Next, I'm going to change the shape of his legs. Now let's give him some feet, and I'm going to add his arms on the side. Now let's start to give him a sword, and we'll copy this thing over to the other side. Now this looks good. Let's color him in. First, I'm going to color the coffee cup. I'll add some brown parts to the cup as well. Next, I'm going to color in his shoes, and let's color his swords gray. Now I'm going to give him some eyes, and we'll add some eyebrows on top. Now let's add some extra details. I think he looks pretty good. Let's add him to the game. This is how he looks in the game. He actually looks really good. I do think the shaders make him look a little bit worse than he did in Blockbench though. But this is definitely pretty good. Cappuccino Assassino is extremely fast, as you can see. And if you couldn't tell, he is really good with the swords. I mean, look at that animation. It's definitely not a really bad animation. It's super cool. If you kill Cappuccino, it takes a while, but when you finally do, he drops a netherite sword. The other sword gets killed as well. And since he's good at using the swords, he's actually able to use them to deflect arrows. He is using them, you just can't see it. But he also has a weakness, and that's fall damage, because if you drop a coffee, it's going to spill. Overall, I think Cappuccino Assassino is a really good mob, and for that, I'm going to give him a 10 out of 10. Next, I'll make and I'm going to use a Ravager to make her. First, I'm going to get rid of these 2 legs. Next, we'll add our own body, and I'm going to make these legs wider. Now let's change the shape of the face, and next I'm going to add a long trunk. Now let's give her some big elephant ears. We'll copy that to the other side, and let's add some big feet for her sandals, and I think that looks good. Now let's color it in. I'm going to color the cactus parts green for now, and I'll color the sandals all brown. Now let's add some white tusks, and I'm going to give her a couple of eyes on the side of her face. Next, let's replace all the green with a cactus texture, and I think this looks pretty good. Let's see how she looks in game. This is how Larilla, I don't know how to say the name, looks in game. As you can see, she is really big, and also is a giant cactus, which is why we're in a desert. But she moves really slow due to her size, as you can see. I don't know if that's accurate to elephants, but I don't care if it is. And she also has the ability to teleport through time. I promise it's true. If you want to ride the cactus elephant, you can, but I'm not really sure what's going on here. This would probably hurt because you're sitting on a giant cactus. Well, inside of one, at least. Larilla is immune to a cactus, as you can see, because she's a cactus, and if you kill her, she'll drop a cactus. You gotta be careful doing it in survival, though, because she does have the same effect as Thorn's armor. Overall, I'm going to give the cactus elephant a 7 out of 10. It's just not a very good looking mob. It's kind of just a giant cactus. The next mob is
Ballerina cappuccina.
and I'll use a skeleton to make her. First, I'll make her legs a lot smaller, and I'll do the same thing for her body. Now let's move her arms down here as well, and I'll also move down her head. Next, I'm gonna change her head into the shape of a teacup, and let's make the little handle on the side. Now I'm going to add her skirt down here like this, and I think this is good. Let's add some color. First, I'm gonna color the cup like this, and we'll put the same color on her arms and legs. Now let's color her shirt a light pink, and I'm gonna add the coffee to the top of her head with a little swirl like this. Now let's give her a couple of eyes, and I'll draw a mouth down here. Next, I'm gonna add some detail. Okay, I think this is done. Let's see how she looks in game. This is how Ballerina Cappuccina looks in game. I don't know what I was doing making her face. Ignore her face. But other than that, I mean, she looks alright. I will show you something cool though. If you right click her, she can do a dance. It's a very good dance. Not glitchy at all. Ballerina Cappuccina has the lowest HP out of the mobs I've made so far, but she has fast speed from dancing to make up for having no health. The dancing also allows her to be immune to damage like fire damage, as she can dance over it. I know she isn't dancing right now, but just pretend that that's what's happening, okay? If you kill the ballerina, you get a bucket of milk, because that's the closest thing to a cappuccino in Minecraft, and overall, I'm going to give the ballerina a 6 out of 10. I'm not gonna lie, the design for this one was pretty bad. Next, I'm going to make
Trullimero trullicina.
and I'm going to use a cat to make him. First, let's move the body up a bit. Next, I'm gonna turn this tail into a fish tail. Now let's add a fin on top, and I'm gonna put some fins on the side as well. Now let's give it some feet, and we'll add a chin underneath the cat head like this. Now I think this looks good. Let's give it some color. Let's color the sides of the fish like this, and I'm gonna color these fins in red. Now let's change the color of the cat's head, and I'm gonna color in the legs this color. Now let's add some fish scales like this, and I'm gonna add some detail to his face. Now let's color in underneath, and I think this is looking good. Let's add him to the game. This is how the mob whose name I'm not even gonna try to pronounce looks in game. This has got to be one of the stranger looking mobs for sure. It's part fish, part human, and part cat. And part broken, as you can see with the fins. They're kind of glitchy. If you didn't know, this fish cat is supposed to be the fastest brainrot animal, so I added that. There is nothing faster than this in the game. I don't even know what's going on. The fish cat is also supposed to attack dolphins. It's so fast that it can't even attack them properly though. Like that one just no clipped out of reality. And this one's doing something. And if you can kill a fish cat, it drops a fish. It's either that or I make it drop a cat. I'm not gonna lie, this mob looks strange and is kind of broken, but I'm still gonna give it an 8 out of 10. Honestly, I don't know why. It just feels like it deserves a high rating. The next mob is
Trallallero trallallà.
and I'm going to use a dolphin to make it. First, let's change the shape of the tail like this. Now let's change the shape of his head. Next, I'm gonna add a third fin in the back right here. And let's start to add some shoes. And this is pretty good. So let's start coloring his whole body blue. And I'm gonna color this part of the shoe lighter blue. And we'll color the bottom of the shark a whitish color. And I'll add some eyes like this. Now let's give him a mouth. And after changing the design a little bit, I think he looks pretty good. Let's add him to the game. This is how he looks in the game. I think he actually looks pretty good. His shoes are a little bit glitchy, but other than that, everything turned out good. I will say I'm not sure if he's the right size though. I think he's supposed to be a little bit bigger. He also does occasionally make some scary noises. I'm not sure what's up with that. Obviously, since this guy is a shark, he's able to swim in water. Well, kind of. I don't really know why he's bouncing up and down. I guess it's just those shoes making him walk on water. You are also able to ride him in the water, but for some reason you can't control it at all. Yeah, something might be wrong here. Anyways, you are able to ride on land just fine, if you ignore the fact that I'm super high up and that there's water noises. And if you kill one of these guys, you get a pair of those shoes for yourself. They're just diamond boots. They're not special boots. Anyways, I'm gonna give Trallallero Trallallà a 6 out of 10. He looks good, but there was too many broken features. Next, I'm going to make
Brr brr patapim. Il mio cappello è pieno di slim.
and for this one, we are using a warden. First, I'm gonna get rid of all the stuff we don't need. Then let's change the shape of his head a bit. Next, I'm gonna make his arms a lot thinner. Next, I'm gonna start giving him massive feet. And next, I'm gonna add his big nose. Now this is looking pretty good, so it's time to color him in. First, I'm gonna color his feet like this. Now I'll color his nose in slightly darker. And I'm gonna color the leaf parts in in green for now. Next, let's draw his beard like this, and I'm gonna give him a couple of eyes. And finally, I've replaced the green parts with leaves like this, and I think he's looking pretty good. Let's see him in game. This is how he looks in the game. As you can see, he's a little bit giant. Look at these massive feet. This is crazy. He also turned out pretty good, except for this glitched part on top of his head. I thought I removed all the warden texture. I guess not. This guy has a ton of health to the point where I wouldn't even try killing him, and he's also super OP in a fight. I wouldn't try fighting him either. He is kind of slow due to his size though, but that doesn't change that he has a lot of health. If you do kill him, you receive a forbidden item, which is air. It's nothing. It was supposed to be a plant pot with a sapling, but that's not an actual item that you can get in the game, which is why I called it a forbidden item. Anyways, he's honestly a good addition to the game. So because of this, I'm going to give him a 9 out of 10. It would be a 10 if it wasn't for the glitched warden texture on his head. The next mob I'll make is...
Tung 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 sahur.
And we're going to use an enderman to make him. Let's start by changing his legs, and we'll make his body a lot longer like this. Now let's remove the head, and I'm gonna move his arms and make them shorter as well. Next, let's turn these cubes into his mouth, and now it's time for us to add some color. I'm going to color his entire body like this. Now let's make his cheeks a darker color, and we'll color the back of his eyes in white like this. Next, I'm gonna color his eyes brown, and I'll color his mouth a similar color. Now I'm gonna color in his eyebrows. Next, I'm gonna give him some black pupils, and finally I'll give him his bat. Alright, I think this looks pretty good. Let's see how he looks in game. This is how he turned out in game. Honestly, this is one of the scariest mobs yet. I mean, bro's face looks messed up. He kind of looks like Mr. Potato Head. Honestly, I don't think I want any of these running around in my world. He does not look friendly. I will say he is the first mob to have no mistakes though. Obviously, we gave him a bat for a reason, so let's see him put it to work. As you can see, the bat does crazy knockback. But because he has a stick, he has a lot less health than the previous mobs. And if you kill him, you can get the stick for yourself. Except it's a debug stick. It's not a knockback stick. This is not Bed Wars. Other than that, there isn't much more to say about this guy. He's just kinda there. He has no mistakes though, so I'm gonna have to give him a 9 out of 10. It would be a 10 if he wasn't so scary. Next, I'm going to make...
Boneca ambalabu.
And for this one, we'll obviously use a frog. First, I'm gonna remove the frog parts that we don't need. Next, I'll move the frog head all the way up here. Now let's start to make this part into the shape of a tire. Now I'm gonna turn this cube into his feet. Now this is looking pretty good. It's time for us to add color. First, we'll color his legs and feet in like this. Next, I'm gonna color the entire tire in gray. And I'll put some black tire marks all on the outside of the tire like this. Next, I'm gonna color the inside of the tire a darker black. And I'll add some detail to the feet like this. Finally, I'll change the frog head's color to green, and I think this looks pretty good. It's time to add him to the game. Okay, so this is what he looks like in the game. Honestly, this is what you would expect. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know what this thing is even supposed to be. Yeah, that's about it. One thing about this guy is that he's super fast when he finally decides to move. Not sure if he's gonna move though. Okay, I can't even get them to fight each other. I guess they're broken. Or this is the most crazy fight of all time. Oh, hitting him with the sword somehow fixed it. Anyways, as you can see, they drop a slime ball when killed, and yeah, he's super fast when you can get him to move. But because it's almost impossible to get him to move, I'm going to have to give him an 8 out of 10. If he did that more often, it would still probably not be a 10, because I still don't even know what this thing even is. The next mob I'll make is...
Frigo camelo, buffo fardello.
And I'm going to use a camel to make him. First, I'm going to get rid of some of this stuff that we don't need. Next, I'm going to make the body a lot bigger into the shape of a fridge like this. And I'm going to make the front legs a lot thinner. Now it's time to turn this bottom part into boots. Now let's adjust the fridge a little bit more, and it's time to color this in. First, I'll color the fridge light gray like this. Next, let's add a gray line on the edges right here. Now let's add another line to separate the freezer. Now let's turn this piece into the fridge handle. Next, I'm gonna color his shoes a brownish color. Now let's add some laces to the shoes, and I think we're done. Let's see how this guy looks in game. This is how the fridge camel looks in game. Not gonna lie, it's one of the worst looking mobs, but that's because it's literally a camel in a fridge. Still no visible mistakes though, so at least that's good. Despite being part fridge, which is pretty heavy, the camel can still run pretty fast, even faster than Boneca. You can also ride the camel, but the only issue is you get put in the fridge because that's the only place to sit. At least fridge travel is way faster than it is on a regular camel, so there's an upgrade there. Also, if your camel gets into a fight, it is pretty much immune to knockback. As you can see, the bat does nothing to him. Because he's part fridge, he's basically a brick wall, all, there's no moving this thing. If you manage to kill a fridge camel, it will drop a block of ice, and it's pretty self-explanatory why, because it's ice, and a fridge is cold. Overall, I decided to give the fridge camel an 8 out of 10. The mob is good, but I just don't like the design. Next, I'm going to make...
Giraffa celeste.
And I'll use a llama to make him, because llamas are kind of close to giraffes. First, let's get rid of these chests, and I'm gonna move the body up like this. Now let's make the neck more giraffe-like, and I'll make his head more like a giraffe too. Next, I'm gonna change the shape of his legs, and I'll make the legs longer as well. Next, I'll add a melon texture to his body like this, and now I'm gonna paint away these extra eyes, and we'll color in the missing parts on his legs. Now it's time to add some giraffe spots all over his body, and I'll start to add some detail to the spots like this, and I think that this is looking good. Let's see how he looks in game. This is how the giraffe looks in game. Yeah, it's definitely a giraffe. I feel like this would actually be a pretty good giraffe design if it wasn't for the giant melon in the middle. I might have made him a little bit big though. I don't think giraffes are this giant. Similar to the last mob, the giraffe is also rideable, although it is a lot slower than the camel is, as you can see. There's also still a seating problem like there was on the fridge as well. The main difference here is that the giraffe can fly though. Yeah, the melon made no sense, so I decided to make it make even less sense. We got flying melon giraffes in 2025. I also couldn't think of a drop for this mob, so once you finally kill it, it drops a totem. Yeah, this is probably the most random mob so far. Flying melon giraffe is honestly a pretty high quality mob though, so for that, I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. Honestly, I don't know why. I'm just doing stuff at this point.